You ever wondered what a clown is like when the show's over and the makeup comes off? Well, today, we're going to get a peek behind that curtain. We're diving into a short poem that tells a huge story about the masks we all wear. And trust me, even if you've never put on a red nose, this one, it hits surprisingly close to home.
I mean, it's a universal thing, right? We all have a public face, that work self or party self. And then there's the person only a few people get to see. This poem we're about to break down, The Clown's Wife, it just nails that whole idea of our public versus our private reality.
Okay, here it is, The Clown's Wife by Agard. It's not long, but wow, does it pack a punch. And what I think is so brilliant is that it's all told from his wife's point of view. You know, she's the one watching from the wings, seeing both sides of the story. That's a perspective we almost never get.
So the whole poem is built on this massive contrast. It's like we're looking at two completely different people who just happen to live in the same body. And this is where it starts to get really, really fascinating.
This guy is basically living a double life. In one world, he's the star of the show, the life of the party. But in the other, he's carrying this heavy weight that he just can't seem to talk about. So let's start with the guy everyone thinks they know, the performer.
So let's talk about the clown when he's in his element. Picture it. The lights are on him. The crowd is roaring. This is the larger-than-life version of him. He is an absolute master of his craft, and he is at the very top of his game.
This line right here says it all. He's not just some funny guy. He is a king on a throne. Just think about that for a second. A clown is usually the jester, right? The fool. But here, he's described as royalty. That completely flips the script on power and tells you everything about how his audience sees him and maybe even how he needs to see himself.
So yeah, on stage, he's a king. He's celebrated, he's confident, totally in control. He's got the entire audience hanging on his every move. But as we're about to see, that is only one side of the coin.
All right, now let's follow him home, because the second he steps through his front door, that king just vanishes, and we are left with a completely different person. The shift is so sudden, it's actually kind of shocking.
And just like that, the king is gone. In his place is a man with the world on his shoulder. That throne has been swapped out for this incredibly heavy burden. The contrast is just, it's heartbreaking. This is what's left when the mask comes off. Without the costume and the makeup, he's just a man who seems to be drowning in some kind of unspoken sadness. He's physically there, but his mind, his spirit, they're somewhere else entirely. And that has to be such a lonely place to be.
And this is where his wife steps in. She sees this pain, she feels his silence, and she decides she has to do something. So what does she do? She puts on her own performance, trying to build a bridge back to the man she knows is in there somewhere.
I mean, look at this. She goes through a whole routine. She juggles with eggs, turns cartwheels, tells him jokes. She even borrows his red nose, trying to bring some of that onstage magic, that joy, into their quiet home. You could just feel her desperation to connect with him, to pull him back from whatever dark place he's in.
But it doesn't work. The wall he's built is still standing. She can get a little smile out of him, sure, but she can't get him to talk. She can't get to the root of what's really hurting him. And for someone who loves you, that has to be one of the most painful things in the world.
And then, after all of her efforts, after all that silence, he finally speaks. And the one and only thing he says is what makes this entire poem so powerful and unforgettable. It's a line people have been debating forever, and it's what we're going to unpack right now.
Oh, life, ah, life, what would I do without this clown of a wife? That's it. That's the line. And it just hangs there in the air, packed with so many possible meanings. It changes everything.
So, what on earth does he mean by that? Is he being sweet? Is this his way of saying, thank you, I love you for trying? Or is there something sadder going on here? Something more ironic?
So, on the one hand, it could be this beautiful term of endearment, right? He's calling her his clown because she's trying so hard to make him happy and he loves her for it. But, on the other hand, it could be this moment of tragic realization. He's looking at her and seeing that his own sadness has forced her to become a performer too. And man, that is a heavy, heavy thought. And that's the absolute genius of this poem. Agard doesn't give us the answer. There is no right or wrong here. He leaves it up to us to sit with that ambiguity. And maybe, just maybe, the point is that both meanings are true at the exact same time.
This poem really makes you think, doesn't it? It has me wondering about the different masks I wear every day and who I really trust enough to share my true self with. So, I'll just leave you with this question to chew on. Who gets to see you after you take off your makeup? Think about it.